From MTN News, this is Montana This Morning.
A site of Shepherd history going up in flames. The latest from the scene as a longtime staple continues to burn.
We will make sure that everybody who comes in has their needs met.
The line for food only growing. What's next for those relying on SNAP benefits in Billings, as temporary relief could be on the way?
It's easier to carry plastic around than a pocket full of change.
And that's no small change. What Billings McDonald's customers have to say as the restaurant gets rid of the penny. You know, those stories and much more coming up here in the next half hour. Good morning and welcome to or welcome back to Montana This Morning on this Tuesday, the 4th day of November. I'm Don Hudson in for Haley, and of course Miller is here as well. Always here. Every time I'm here, you're here.
I'm usually here.
Yeah. That's how it works, I guess, right?
Yeah, I guess that's how it works.
Yeah.
I get paid, I might as well show up. You know?
You know, that helps when you're trying to keep a job, right?
There you go. All right.
What's it look like out there today?
Well, we got some cloudiness out there. We may get a little bit of rain here in Billings this morning. Some areas are seeing a little bit of rain. We'll have a chance maybe later this evening, a slightly better chance. I'll put us at about a 30% chance. I had this question yesterday at the gym, so I thought I'd just throw it out there. Billings, we're going to lose about an hour and 8 minutes of daylight in November. Sun rises this morning at 6:58. It sets at 4:55. So those daylight hours are getting shorter and shorter. So I'm sure I just depressed a whole bunch of people out there. My apologies.
Well, but not an hour 10, but an hour
about an
and
hour
8
8,
minutes.
give or take. There you
Okay.
go. All right. So some of us definitely seeing some cloud cover this morning. Otherwise, other spots are seeing a little bit of rain. More on that in just a second. Our high yesterday of 55, so almost 5 degrees above the norm. We're going to try to hit 60 today. So staying milder than normal this week, maybe more seasonal as we head into the weekend. Our low of 32, pretty much on target for this time of the year. Top gust yesterday of 22 miles an hour. Was a dry day yesterday, been a dry start to the month. We have a little bit of rain maybe today, maybe again as we get into Wednesday, Thursday, and maybe Friday into Saturday, but very minimal accumulation for those who are seeing some rain out there this morning with temperatures in the 30s and 40s. We've got 35 right now here in Billings. Feels like 27, winds out the southwest at about 12 miles an hour. Day planner today, a lot of cloud cover. By lunchtime, we'll be in the low 50s. Heading home today, we'll try to hit 60, and that's when we may have a better chance of seeing some of that rainfall. But milder than the normal temperatures all the way through Friday, then a bit of a cool down across the weekend, and we could see strong winds at times and a chance of rain and mountain snow all through the work week. We'll take a look at that with forecast coming up.
All right. Miller, thank you very much.
Okay.
Right now to continuing coverage of a massive fire in Yellowstone County. Crews still assessing the destruction of a well-known piece of Shepherd history. It happening last night. Take a look at the new video that we have. This has been a situation we've been tracking through the overnight hours. The Feedlot Steakhouse, a local favorite for 25 years, erupting in fire just before 6 o'clock last night. Shepherd volunteer fire crews say they are going to remain on the site throughout the morning looking for hot spots. Crews also say their efforts were complicated last night by the roof and floor collapses that happened that restricted firefighting operations. Firefighters continue to urge everyone to just avoid that area for the time being. Now, we brought you this story first last night during our 10 o'clock news, and while we showed you the video, viewers also sent in some photos. Take a look. These pictures showing the flames as they shot to the sky and just torched that structure and just that plume of smoke there. We also had a reporter on scene last night telling us that crews from Shepherd, from Warden, and Lockwood all raced to the scene, knocking down that fire about an hour after it started at 7:15. The building was vacant, and the building, of course, now a total loss. The road leading in and out of that area was closed at the time. It's reopened now, but the sheriff's office is still working to determine what sparked that fire and asking people to just avoid that place for now. In breaking national news this morning, the family of former Vice President Dick Cheney confirming that he has passed away. In a statement, Cheney's family says he died overnight of complications of pneumonia and cardiac and vascular disease. He was surrounded by his family at the time. Before Cheney became vice president in the George W. Bush administration, he served as defense secretary, White House chief of staff, and, of course, a Wyoming congressman. In a statement, his family says that he was a good man who taught his children and grandchildren to love our country. Dick Cheney was 84 years old. It's election day for millions of Americans. Key races going on in New York City, New Jersey, Virginia. They really could be a bellwether for what to expect in midterm elections next year. Now, President Trump has been telling Republicans that a vote for Democrats is really a, quote, death wish, except for in New York City, where he's actually endorsing a former Democratic political rival. Jared Hill has the story.
Did you vote yet?
Hours before Election Day, canvassers fanned across New York City's 5 boroughs for a mayoral race that's caught the nation's attention.
I'm really excited about Zoran.
Let us leave everything out there on the field, my friends. Let us do it together.
Zoran Mamdani, a 34-year-old Democratic socialist, is the front-runner. Republican Curtis Sliwa, a distant third in the polls, behind former New York Governor Andrew Cuomo, a Democrat running as an independent. Monday night, President Trump officially endorsed Cuomo and threatened to pull federal funding from the city if Mamdani wins.
We need a mayor who can stand up to Donald Trump, who can get the funding that New York deserves.
The mayoral race here in New York City could prove to be a test for Democrats across the country. More than 700,000 people voted early. Across the river in New Jersey, the race for governor is tightening between Democratic Congresswoman Mikey Sherrill, a former Navy officer,
When we vote,
and Trump-backed Republican former State Assemblyman Jack Ciattarelli.
This election is all about change.
In several posts on social media, President Trump urged voters to vote Republican in New Jersey and Virginia. That state poised to elect its first woman governor in a race between former Democratic Congresswoman Abigail Spanberger and Republican Lieutenant Governor Winsome Earl Sears.
Abigail is for nonsense, but I am for common sense.
In Virginia, we need a governor who will stand up against the chaos.
An off-year election that could give both parties a window into the future. Jared Hill, CBS News, New York.
President Trump has endorsed New Jersey's GOP gubernatorial candidate. He has not done the same in Virginia. Meanwhile, billionaire businessman Elon Musk weighing in on this in the New York City mayor's race, saying that he also endorses former Governor Cuomo. Billings also taking part in elections today with voting in the race for mayor and several city county seats. Local polls, by the way, open at 7 a.m. Now, in the mayoral race, Billings residents have 4 candidates because the current mayor, Bill Cole, is terming out. Mike Boyett, Jennifer Owen, Mike Nelson, Amanda Hausler are the 4 names to keep in mind. Now, we did a deep dive on each one of these candidates leading up to the big day. You can find their profiles on ktvq.com. 11 other candidates are all vying for the Magic City's 5 wards. Mark Nicholson and David Redmond for Ward 1, Ernest Hammer, Dennis Pittman, Cassie Strong for Ward 2, Amy Aguirre, TJ Rogers, Ward 3, Andrew Lindley and Daniel Tiswell, Ward 4, and Tony O'Donnell and Patrick Ulp for Ward 5. Now, we will be following all these races closely tonight as Q2 is your #1 place for local election coverage. We'll be tracking the latest results both on air and, of course, online at ktvq.com. In continuing developments this morning, help may be on the way for the 40 million Americans and 80,000 Montanans seeking SNAP benefits. But the help may not be immediate. The Trump administration says it will tap a contingency fund to partially cover SNAP benefits this month after 2 federal court rulings. Now, the USDA plans to spend about $4.6 billion, but it could take weeks, maybe even more than a month, to see those partial payments. Now, with the future uncertain, there's a growing strain for Montanans who count on SNAP benefits to feed their families. In Billings, it's leaving many turning to local food banks for help, with family services seeing longer lines. MTN's Will Wagner has a story on how the community is stepping up to meet the need.
When the SNAP benefits runs out, I can't afford it. It's really hard, so I have to go to food banks and all that stuff.
Getting food is getting serious for many, and the crowds are growing at local food banks. While partial SNAP funding has been approved, that's not going to fix today's need.
There's a lot more people here now because, the shutdown and people that don't have food stamps now, they have to go here to get it. And it's really hard to, get food because of this, because so many people are coming that, usually don't come here because they had food stamps or they have money to get other stuff.
Family Service and Billings say they're working hard to supply the community with all the stuff they need.
We will make sure that everybody who comes in has their needs met. We expect to see an increase, but the community has been so giving. We've had multiple donations come in today, totaling over 1,000 pounds of food donations. We've got barrels all over the community.
Having options for those both receiving and giving could be what makes all the difference in keeping people fed.
About 30 different communities are doing food drives. So the community is absolutely meeting the need, and we'll continue to do that for everybody who comes through.
People like Simi Audette have sourced several small donations from her neighbors and congregation to help meet the need.
Our church
St. Luke's Episcopal Church is one church that wanted to donate, and then I just felt inspired, I guess, to go around the neighborhood and also collect food out in Briarwood.
It's this coming together that could keep the fear away.
People need to help the poor people or elderly people that can't afford, don't have a lot of money.
In Billings, Will Wagner, MTN News.
Well, thank you. This morning, a big development out of eastern Montana. Custer County is making a push to bring the state's proposed forensic mental health facility to that area. The county confirms the facility could be built on 500 acres of state land just behind the Pine Hills Correctional Facility. Officials say the location already has water, it already has sewer, and a trained correctional workforce ready to go. A survey on the county's website shows strong support for this idea, with about 80% of the respondents backing the plan for the proposed 32-bed facility near Miles City. Montana continues to face a growing addiction crisis impacting large and small communities. Governor Greg Gianforte calls it one of the state's biggest challenges as overdose deaths continue to rise. This morning, our Hannah Pettiferi looks at the numbers and a new addiction report.
A chronic disease is how behavioral health officer Malcolm Horn describes addiction.
We understand now addiction fundamentally changes areas of the brain that help us with learning, problem solving, memory.
And she says there's two main reasons for Montana being high at risk.
We don't have very good behavioral health care systems.
The second, help is often few and far between.
It can be really hard for people to access care. So even in a metropolitan area like Billings, where there's lots of providers, there's not enough to go around.
Malcolm says there's also a stigma around talking about addiction.
There's that cowboy up mentality. And so the idea was you don't need to deal with those emotions, you just set them aside. So there's definitely that idea that we don't share that, we don't talk about that.
The hard question, what are we doing as a state to lower the risk? One answer is treatment centers.
Here at Healing Rock, we're here to battle that stigma. Like, we want to go toe to toe with the stigma of mental health and addiction and let people know that it's okay not to be okay.
Clinical supervisor Melissa Rasica at Healing Rock Recovery says there is help out there.
We create such a safe environment that they're able just to be real people here when they walk in those doors. They don't have to worry about the shame and the guilt and the stigma.
And she says that addiction is something so many people are scared to face.
There are so many people in America that struggle with addiction that are too afraid to talk about the struggle with addiction and mental health.
Centers like Healing Rock Recovery are helping people like Jeffrey Shelton face his fears.
It changed my life.
Jeffrey says he got a second chance at life because of the help he got.
This was the perfect place because they made it safe and they made it comfortable. The empowerment, the self-worth, everything that comes along with it is amazing.
In Billings, Hannah Pettiferi, MTN News.